It was a typical busy morning in my corner office, surrounded by sleek glass walls and the hum of ambition, when a Facebook notification lit up my phone screen. I was deep in the midst of reviewing quarterly reports, charts, and numbers swirling in my mind, when that little ping caught my attention. I almost swiped it away, dismissing it as another distraction, but something about the preview text stopped me cold. My younger sister, Emma, had posted something bold and cutting, finally blocking my toxic sister. Our family is so much better without her drama. My heart sank as I clicked to read the full post, a mix of shock and curiosity washing over me. Below her blunt declaration, Emma had poured out 3 lengthy paragraphs, passionately arguing that some people never grow up, never take responsibility for their actions, and that cutting toxic family members out of your life is a powerful act of self-care. The post was already gaining traction, racking up 43 likes and 17 supportive comments from mutual friends and relatives, all praising her for setting boundaries and choosing her peace. I leaned back in my plush leather chair, gazing out at the sprawling city skyline, the weight of her words settling at 26 years old. I was still, in Emma's eyes, the family disappointment, the one who never amounted to anything worthwhile. She had no clue, none of them did, that the woman she so publicly labeled as toxic was, in fact, the CEO of Meridian Tech Solutions, a thriving digital marketing agency. More ironically, it was the very same company that had just extended her a dream job offer for the marketing director position she'd been chasing for 2 years. I didn't rush to respond to her post, nor did I leap to defend myself online. Instead, I picked up my phone with a calm resolve and dialed my HR director. "Hello, Jennifer? It's Alexandra. I need you to rescind the job offer we extended to Emma Torres yesterday." My voice was steady, but inside, a storm of emotions churned: hurt, frustration, and a strange sense of clarity. Emma's words had drawn a line, and I was about to make a decision that would change everything. 3 years ago, I founded Meridian Tech Solutions with just $50,000, scraped together from years of freelance web development work. What began as a solo venture, fueled by late nights and relentless determination, had blossomed into a full-service digital marketing agency with 37 talented employees and annual revenue nearing $8 million. Yet, my family remained completely in the dark about my achievements. To them, I was still the college dropout who'd abandoned a traditional education to tinker with computers, destined to scrape by as a freelancer in a cramped downtown apartment. At family gatherings, their questions about my work were polite but fleeting, often met with sympathetic nods before they swiftly changed the topic. They saw my talk of new clients or projects as either empty boasting or naive delusion. Emma, especially, viewed me as the irresponsible little sister who refused to grow up and secure a real job. She worked in traditional marketing at a mid-sized firm, earning $65,000 a year, and never missed a chance to lecture me about career stability. "You can't keep relying on those little freelance gigs forever, Alex," she'd say, her tone dripping with condescension at family dinners. "At some point, you need to think seriously about your future. This computer stuff isn't a sustainable career path." I'd smile, nod, and bite my tongue, never mentioning that my little freelance gigs were generating more revenue than her entire department. The irony was almost poetic. Emma was undeniably talented at marketing, a skill I'd recognized long before her public attack. 6 months ago, when Meridian Tech began searching for a new marketing director, I quietly recommended her to our HR team, ensuring she went through the same rigorous interview process as the other 47 applicants. She earned the position entirely on her own merit, and just yesterday, Jennifer had called her with the life-changing news: a $95,000 salary, comprehensive benefits, equity options, and the chance to lead marketing strategy for one of the region's fastest-growing companies. Emma had been over the moon, immediately calling our parents and posting on Facebook about landing her dream role at an innovative tech company. Little did she know, she'd been hired by the very sister she'd just called toxic. After reading her post that morning, I called Jennifer into my office. "I need you to rescind the job offer we extended to Emma Torres," I repeated, my voice firm. Jennifer, puzzled, asked, "Emma Torres?" Her references were stellar, and the team adored her. Is there a problem? I took a deep breath. There's a conflict of interest. She's my sister. Jennifer's eyes widened in disbelief. Your sister? But her last name is Torres and yours is Martinez. I explained that I use my mother's maiden name professionally as Emma and I have different fathers. She doesn't even know I own this company, I added. She thinks I'm just a struggling freelance web designer. Jennifer sat down, processing the revelation. That's actually impressive, Alex, that you've kept this private for 3 years. I shrugged. It wasn't intentional at first. I just never corrected their assumptions. I showed her Emma's Facebook post, and as she read it, her expression shifted from confusion to understanding. Oh, she said softly. Wow. I can't have a senior employee who publicly calls me toxic and claims the world is better without me, I explained. Even if she doesn't know I'm her boss, it creates a problematic dynamic. Jennifer nodded, understanding the gravity of the situation. Call her and rescind the offer. Tell her the position has been eliminated due to budget restructuring. Jennifer hesitated. Are you sure? I nodded. She made her feelings about me crystal clear. 30 minutes later, Jennifer returned. It's done. I told Emma the position was eliminated due to unexpected budget constraints. She was devastated, asked if there might be other opportunities later, and I said we'd keep her resume on file. I thanked her and returned to my work, but the weight of the decision lingered. Over the next few hours, Emma's Facebook activity exploded. She posted about the job offer being rescinded, calling it a devastating blow and a sign that the universe was testing her resilience. The same friends and relatives who had cheered her decision to block me now flooded her post with sympathy, some even suggesting my negative energy was somehow to blame for her misfortune. My cousin Mark commented, "This is why you were right to cut Alex out. Toxic people bring bad luck, even from a distance." Around 3 p.m., my mother called. "Alexandra, I saw Emma's posts about losing that job opportunity. She's really upset." I sighed. "I saw the posts too, Mom. She thinks I somehow jinxed it." Mom dismissed it. "She's just stressed and looking for someone to blame." I raised an eyebrow, though she couldn't see it. "So, I'm the scapegoat for Emma's career problems?" Mom tried to smooth things over. "You know how Emma gets dramatic when things don't go her way. Did you see what she posted about blocking toxic family members?" I nodded to myself. "Yeah, Mom, I saw it. She announced that the family is better off without me. How is that not personal?" Mom was quiet for a moment. "I'm sure she didn't mean it that way." I almost laughed. "How do you not mean something like that personally?" At 5 p.m., my phone buzzed with a text from Emma's number, which caught me off guard since she'd claimed to have blocked me. "Alex, I know we're not talking, but I really need someone to vent to. The job I was supposed to start on Monday just got eliminated. Can you call me?" I stared at the message, incredulous. The same person who had declared me toxic that morning was now seeking my emotional support. I texted back, "I thought you blocked me because I was too toxic." Her response came quickly. "That was just Facebook drama. This is real life. I really need my sister right now." I shook my head, typing, "Emma, you literally posted that the family is better without me. Why would you want support from someone you described that way?" Her reply was defensive. "Alex, that wasn't about you specifically. I was just venting about family stress in general." I screenshot her text and compared it to her Facebook post, which explicitly said, "Blocking my toxic sister." I responded, "Emma, you specifically said blocking my toxic sister and family is better without her. How is that not about me?" She doubled down. "You're being way too sensitive. It's just social media." I fired back, "So when you need something from me, it's just social media, but when you wanted to humiliate me publicly, it was important enough to write 3 paragraphs?" Emma pleaded, "Alex, I'm really struggling. Can we please not do this?" I took a deep breath and replied, "Emma, I think you were right this morning. Maybe the family is better off without the drama." I blocked her number and returned to my quarterly reports, my resolve hardening. Over the next week, Emma's Facebook posts grew increasingly desperate as she shared updates about her job search. She'd turned down 2 other offers while waiting for the Meridian Tech position, and now she was struggling in a much smaller applicant pool. Relatives continued to blame her career troubles on my supposed negative influence, despite my months-long silence. On Thursday, my mother called again. "Alex, Emma is really struggling with this job situation. She's wondering if you could ask around in your computer network to see if anyone needs marketing help." I nearly laughed out loud. "My computer network? You mean the people I do web design for?" Mom nodded through the phone. "Maybe one of them needs marketing assistance." I couldn't resist. "Mom, you want Emma to ask for help from the toxic sister who brings drama?" She sighed. "Alex, she didn't mean that seriously." I countered. She seemed pretty serious when she wrote 3 paragraphs about it. Mom insisted, "Family helps family." I replied, "Does it?" Because Emma made it very clear I'm not really family. She said the family is better without me. The conversation ended with no resolution, but it left me thinking about the deeper dynamics at play. The following Monday, Emma posted something unexpected. "I've been reflecting on family lately and the importance of not burning bridges over temporary frustrations. Sometimes we say things that don't reflect our true feelings. I want to apologize to anyone I may have hurt with my recent posts." An hour later, she texted me, "Alex, I posted an apology. I know I was wrong to say those things. I was stressed and frustrated, and I took it out on you unfairly. Can we please talk?" That evening, I called her. "Emma, I saw your apology post," I began. She jumped in, "Alex, I'm so sorry. I was having a terrible week and took it out on you." I pressed, "What exactly were you stressed about when you wrote that post?" She hesitated. "Work stuff, mostly. And I was frustrated with some family dynamics." I pushed further. "What kind of family dynamics?" She admitted, feeling like some people in our family get more support than others. "Mom and Dad are always worrying about your career, saying you're not living up to your potential and need more stable work." I paused, processing her words. "So, you think their worry about me is a problem?" She backtracked. "I'm not trying to judge your choices, Alex. I just think you're really smart and could do amazing things with the right opportunity." I asked, "What kind of opportunity?" She suggested maybe working for a tech company or marketing agency, something that uses your computer skills but gives you more security. I realized Emma's resentment wasn't about me being toxic. It was about her perception that our parents cared more about my supposed career struggles than her successes. I took a deep breath. "Emma, I need to tell you something about that job you lost." She sounded confused. "What do you mean?" I continued, "Meridian Tech Solutions is my company." Silence hung heavy for nearly 30 seconds. "What?" she whispered. "I'm the CEO of Meridian Tech Solutions. I founded it 3 years ago." She stammered, "That's impossible. You're a freelance web designer." I corrected her. "No, Emma. I'm the CEO of an $8 million digital marketing agency with 37 employees." She struggled to process it. "Alex, that doesn't make sense. You live in that tiny apartment." I explained, "I choose to live modestly to reinvest profits into the business." Her voice trembled. "So, when I applied for the job, I was applying to work for you?" I nodded, though she couldn't see. "Yes, you were applying to work for your toxic sister." Another long silence followed. "Alex, I had no idea," she said, her voice breaking. "I know. That's exactly the problem." I continued, "Emma, for 3 years, you've dismissed my work as playing around with computers. You've lectured me about getting a real job, treated me like the irresponsible little sister who can't get her life together." She protested, "But I didn't know." I countered, "You didn't know because you never asked. You made assumptions about my life without ever bothering to learn the details." She was crying now. "Alex, I'm so sorry. The job offer was rescinded because of me, wasn't it?" I confirmed. I couldn't have a senior employee who publicly called me toxic, even if she didn't know I was the CEO. She pleaded, "Alex, please. I made a terrible mistake. Can't we fix this?" I sighed. "Emma, I spent 3 years building a successful business while you lectured me about getting my life together. I had the chance to hire my talented sister, and she responded by calling me toxic on social media." She repeated, "I didn't know it was you." I replied, "That's the point. You treated me poorly when you thought I had nothing to offer. Now that you know I'm successful, you want my forgiveness. If I was actually the struggling freelancer you thought, would you be apologizing?" She hesitated. "I'd like to think I would, but I don't know for sure." I nodded. "That's the problem, Emma. Your respect for me is conditional on my usefulness to you." We talked for another hour, diving deep into our family dynamics and the possibility of rebuilding our relationship. Emma's resentment, I learned, stemmed from years of feeling like our parents prioritized my perceived failures over her achievements. Her Facebook post was the culmination of that frustration, but it also revealed how she viewed me when she thought I was vulnerable. "Is there any way I could still be considered for the marketing director position?" she asked cautiously. I shook my head. "Emma, I can't hire someone who called me toxic, regardless of whether they knew I was the CEO. It's not just about apologies, it's about judgment. You chose to publicly humiliate someone you thought couldn't affect your career." She asked, "So, there's no way to fix this?" I replied, "There might be, but it would take time and consistent changes in how you approach relationships, especially with people you think have less power than you." She asked, "What kind of changes?" I explained, "You need to reflect on why you felt comfortable calling me toxic when you thought I was struggling, but now you're begging for forgiveness because I'm successful." She paused. "I understand. Help me see this from your perspective." I offered an analogy. "Imagine if I had posted that you were toxic and the family was better off without you. Then you found out I was in a position to help or hurt your career. How would you feel?" She answered, betrayed. I nodded. "Exactly. You'd wonder if I was planning to hurt you all along. But I wasn't, Emma. I recommended you for the position anonymously because I wanted you to succeed." Over the next week, Emma did something unexpected. She posted a detailed, heartfelt apology on Facebook, taking full responsibility for her previous posts and acknowledging that she'd been wrong to attack a family member publicly. More impressively, she began volunteering with a local nonprofit that supported unemployed professionals with job search assistance. 3 weeks later, she called me. "Alex, I've been thinking about what you said about how I treat people I think have less power than me. You were right. I've been dismissive toward others, like the barista at my coffee shop who dreams of being a writer, or the intern at my old job who wanted to start his own business. I told them to focus on realistic goals, but I was projecting my own insecurities." I was impressed. "That's a significant realization, Emma." She continued, "Working with the nonprofit has shown me how much courage it takes to pursue unconventional paths and how destructive it is when people dismiss those efforts." I nodded. "I appreciate that, Emma. Is there any possibility we could rebuild our relationship, not because I want something from you, but because I genuinely miss having you as my sister?" I thought about it. Her apology had been public and specific, and her volunteer work showed a real commitment to growth. "I'd be willing to try, Emma, but it needs to be based on mutual respect and honest communication. No more assumptions, no more lectures, and no more treating me like I need to be fixed." She agreed. "I can commit to that." 2 months later, Emma and I met for lunch near the Meridian Tech offices, our 4th meeting since we'd started rebuilding our relationship. This one felt natural, like the sisterhood we'd lost years ago. "How's the new job?" I asked. She'd landed a role at a smaller marketing firm. "It's good," she said. "The pay isn't as high as the Meridian position, but the work is engaging." I smiled. "I'm glad you found something that fits." She asked, "Do you ever regret not telling our family about your success earlier?" I thought for a moment. Sometimes it would have been nice to have their support while building the company, but I wanted to succeed on my own terms. Later, it became a way to see how people treated me when they thought I had nothing to offer. She nodded. "And what did you learn?" I replied that a lot of people's respect is conditional on perceived success, including yours. But I also learned that some people, like you, can recognize their mistakes and change. She asked, "Do you think our parents will react well when they find out?" I shrugged. "I don't know. Part of me worries they'll be hurt I didn't trust them. Part of me worries they'll treat me differently because I'm successful." She offered, "Would you like me to be there when you tell them?" I smiled. "I'd appreciate that." The following Sunday, Emma and I drove to our parents' house for what we'd billed as an important family conversation. "Girls, you've been so mysterious," Dad said as we sat down. "What's the big news?" I looked at Emma, who nodded encouragingly. "Mom, Dad, I need to tell you something about my work that I should have shared years ago." Over the next 20 minutes, I explained Meridian Tech Solutions, its growth, client base, and my role as CEO. I showed them our website and recent press coverage. They sat in stunned silence. "Alex," Dad finally said, "you're telling us you own a company generating $8 million in revenue, and you've been running it for 3 years while we've been lecturing you about getting a real job?" I nodded. "Yes." Mom started crying. "Honey, why didn't you tell us?" I replied, "Because I wanted to see how you'd treat me when you thought I had nothing to offer." Emma spoke up. "Mom, Dad, Alex is being polite. The truth is, we've all been dismissive toward her because we assumed she was failing." I was the worst offender. Dad protested. "We were just trying to help." I asked, "Were you?" "Because it felt like you were trying to control me. You never asked for details about my work. You just assumed I was failing and tried to fix me." Mom admitted, "We're sorry. We should have asked more questions and trusted you to make your own decisions." I nodded. "You can start by treating me like the successful adult I've been for 3 years, not the struggling child you thought I was." Over the following months, my family began to adjust to the reality of who I was. My parents started asking genuine questions about my business, showing real interest instead of offering unsolicited advice. Emma and I grew closer than ever, and she became one of my most trusted advisors. I helped her transition to a better position at another company, not out of obligation, but because I believed in her talent. The Facebook post that had sparked this journey became a turning point for our family, forcing us to confront years of assumptions, miscommunication, and conditional respect. 6 months later, Emma posted again, "I've learned that success comes in many forms, and the most important thing is supporting the people you love, regardless of whether you understand their choices." Proud of my sister for building something extraordinary and teaching me what true family support looks like. I liked the post, a small gesture that felt monumental. Sometimes, the best way to save a relationship is to be willing to lose it first. The most toxic thing in our family wasn't me, it was the assumptions that blinded us to each other's truths. Emma thought she was blocking a toxic sister, but she ended up blocking her own dream job. In doing so, she forced us all to confront what it really means to respect and support one another. The irony wasn't lost on us. The sister she thought was holding her back was the one who could have moved her forward. But more importantly, the sister she called toxic turned out to be the most successful person in our family, and now she knows better. Please feel free to comment below if you liked this. Remember to like and subscribers for more.